if you tune in to the class, assume it's being recorded, right? Okay, so we're going to get to that in a minute. But back to what I was saying over here. The most important thing. I wasn't from an academic family, and I really didn't care that much about school, and I didn't care who knew it. I got suspended several times in high school. I'm not proud of this. I'm just telling you how I was, right? I was not a Christian at the time. The Lord came into my life much later. But I was used to, my habit was I did all of my homework on the way home on the school bus, which was all of about 15 minutes every day. 15 minutes every day on the way home on the school bus. And if I couldn't do it in 15 minutes on the way home on the school bus, and that's including goofing off with my friends, it didn't get done. And I never studied math. I went in, and in Calc 1, with my girlfriend there, I got a B. She was a business major, didn't have to take Calc 2. I was a math major, I had to take Calc 2. And Calc 2, she wasn't in there. I scraped by and got a very gracious, well-deserved D in Calculus 2. 4 years later, I was teaching Calculus 2 at the same college, University of Florida, where I went to school. What's the lesson? It never was ability. I had all the gray matter. I had all the talent I needed to do well in that class and any other class, by the way. The problem was this. This is the big equalizer right here. The people who are good in math, people who aren't, people who like math, people who don't. This is it. Right? This is it. And I will emphasize this, but I cannot tell. I learned it the hard way. I learned it the very hard way. Right? I hope to maybe motivate a few others to not learn it that way. Okay. Achtung. Okay. Gotta underscore this. Who should be here and who should not be here? Okay. The prerequisites for this class, and these are hard prerequisites. ACT math score, not composite score, math score of 22. SAT, 560. Those scores, and there's a lot of research on this, millions of data points on this, those scores make it a toss-up, 50-50 chance of you earning an A, B, or a C in college algebra. Those scores, or higher. I don't want to bow down at the altar of standardized testing, but they have done a lot of research, and a lot of research that backs that. The other 50% get D, F, or withdraw, which I'm going to call an unsuccessful outcome. Right? I want you to be successful. If you do not have an ACT math score of 22 or an SAT of 560 or higher, you should be in, or you should have already taken intermediate algebra. And if you didn't make a B or an A in that class, you're still going to be in trouble. If you squeak by with a C, or even you got a D, you're going to struggle. I don't want that to happen. And I don't know who this applies to. I just know a couple of you, okay? I know a couple of you. I don't know who this may apply to, but I know it applies to some. Right? You should be down in, if you had math in the real world, that does not prepare you for this class. That's for liberal arts majors and majors that are less rigorous mathematically. Math for educators, same thing. All right, that's very important. This is something that's overlooked. Students sitting in this class, you already have this class. Most students that need to be in this MTH 133, they don't want to change their schedule, right? They don't want to mess around with their schedule. They want to sit in and out, I'll just work a little harder. You're going to be facing a headwind. And your chances of success are decreased. And even at these scores, it's a toss-up. It's a coin toss. Right. So, warning signs. These are things that keep me up at night. All right. Now, let's suppose at that clock, I have a basketball hoop. And let's suppose right here is the foul line. Right? Right? Let's suppose right here is the foul. I have a certain percentage chance of making a foul shot. On a good day for me, it might be 1 out of 5. On a good day, okay? So I'm 1 out of 5 here at the charity stripe, right? If I don't have that math score, take a big step back. Can I still make the foul shot? Is it still possible? Yes, it is. It is less likely. Right? I've handicapped myself. No math in recent years. If you haven't taken math in 2 or 3 years, or even skipped 1 year, another step back. Is it still possible? Of course. Weak study habits, like me, the way I went to college, another step back. Overloaded semester. You're taking extra hours. This is your sports season main semester. Some sports I know they go 2 semesters worth. Guess what? Oh, you're going to be in drama. You're going to be in the spring production with John Baker and they put on great work. Another step back. Pretty soon, is it still possible? Yeah. Right? Right. You got to be LeBron James to have a chance this. Right? This is what you do. And this is what I've done. This is what I see students do. I've taught this a while. I taught my first college algebra class in 1980. Yeah. Okay. Things have changed. I've changed. Students have changed. Instructions changed. Textbooks have changed. Technology has changed. But this has not changed. This has not changed. If you go in with these, you're in a headwind. You got the wind in your face. You're big boys and girls. You can do what you want. Right? But I am telling you, these are things that concern me. Okay. There we go. Let's mask up. I'm going to do a little card here. A little index card. All right. And if you would, tell me a little bit about you, and I will tell you a little bit about me. All right? Okay. What? Hi. There we go. There we go. How's it going? All right. Tell me a little bit about you. Now, this card serves several purposes. One is to sort of get to know you, and I'll go through these during the semester a little bit, and we can get to know each other a little bit. I'll tell you something about me here in a minute. Yeah. This? Oh, sorry. Let me know your name, the top line, and then over here, the top right, let me know your preferred first name. So if you're Joseph and you go by Joe, put Joe there. If you go by some nickname, I'll try to learn that nickname, right? Tell me your hometown, your major. Tell me, and when I say tell me, tell us. You're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Oh, by the way, all of this is eligible to be shared with the class, except this line here. I'd like to know the last math course you took and when you took it. You know, I took integrated math 2 years ago, senior year of high school. Don't say senior year of high school. I need to know when that was. 2018 or whatever, 2019, whatever it was, okay? All right. Then, 3 random things about you. Random thing number 1, 2, and 3. And these are things that probably are not true for the rest of the class. Things that are quirks about you, things you've done, things you are, that most other people in here, it wouldn't apply, right? Don't put down there, I like pizza. Okay? Right? Lots of people like pizza. Put down in there, I've been to Nepal. Right? Something like that. And all of you have unique things. All of you do. You know, I've been in a lot of math departments. I've taught in a few, right? And anyway, come on. You know, in high school, I had the highest, you know, and my girlfriend, she was like, a little about me. My name is Mark Miller, raised in Florida, but I live in New York. And now I want you to consider something. This is where I put in a little jab, I have to tell you. And most of you are fine in this category. But there's people who live in New York, right? And you know, try to get to know the town a little bit. Try not to run by school buses when they're dropping off their kids and zipping through residential neighborhoods. It's sometimes the case, and it's happened, right? You know, it's a good old town. Let it give to you, and I hope you can give back to it. It's a nice place. I was raised in St. Petersburg, Florida. A little joint outside of that, actually. My undergraduate major was mathematics and statistics. I had a double major as an undergrad. Last math course, I have no clue. It was a long time ago. But I still learn math. I still study math. I tried to study math that's new to me. You know, it's not new math, it's new to me. And it's a way to, I hope whatever you do, you keep learning for your whole life. You're a lifelong learner. That you're eager to learn. Because when you quit learning, honestly, you're mentally you die. Random things. Here's a random thing about me. When I was in college, I saved 11 gallons of pennies. 11 gallons. You know those 5-gallon water jars, you know, for the water, you know, purified water, right? I filled 2 of those. Right? I was in college a while, but right, graduate school and stuff, right? Filled 2 of those, and I had a bucket on the side. $551.41. I know some of you are thinking. So that's something random about me. Oh dear. You know, I've met only a few, I can count on one hand the number of people who could observe math and then do it, right? Without, you aren't one of them, and neither am I. Did you know I got a D in Calc too? All right, random thing about me, I love the Rubik's Cube. Any other cubers in here? Anybody else can solve Rubik's Cube? Come on. Oh, there are some people at school who can do that. Elizabeth Higgins, I don't know if you know her. She can do this Rubik's Cube. Right. But usually under a minute, sometimes 45 seconds. I used to be able to do it half that time. But your eye-hand coordination and response times at 20 years old, you guys toast me. You guys toast me. When you get my age, you guys are a half or a third of my hand-eye response time. And that's just a blessing of youth, right? Last thing, we moved to York. My wife and I, my family, have 2 kids. We moved here from Milan, Italy. We lived 11 years in Italy. And I have a picture of my wife here at the end. But she works downstairs in accounts payable, and that's an office in which you probably will never have to go at your college. She pays the school's bills. You ever wonder who pays the light bills? Well, we didn't pay one. That's why these lights are off, right? So we don't even do half the lights. No. You ever wonder who who pays the bills? My wife writes all the checks here at the college. Somebody else signs them. Somebody more important signs them. But we moved here from Long Island. We were there 11 years as vocational missionaries. Our kids were born there. My wife's of Italian extraction, right? I am not, but we speak Italian with each other a lot, and with our friends in Italy. It was a wonderful experience. I don't know if I mentioned this. I mentioned this? I can't remember. But I've been in a lot of math. Okay, we're getting to the topic. This is new. All right, brand new. All right. This slide is basically school policy now, as long as COVID's in effect. Right? Face coverings are required for all students while in class. Students who fail to comply can be dropped from the course. If proper social distancing can be maintained at all times. So I don't know if you notice, I have a little zone up here. And from here to him is 8 feet. The nearest student is 8 feet. From here, it's 11 feet. Actually, from here, it's 8 feet. From here, it's 11 feet. I got my tape measure out and measured. So while I'm up here in this little zone, I will probably not be wearing a mask until and unless that changes. But when I go out there to hand out cards and stuff, I'll mask up, right? And I'll mask up when I'm talking to you after class and so forth, right? So this, by the way, is not just school policy. It's also, there's a city ordinance right now mandating masks in a lot of situations. But it allows for presenters, it allows for teachers, it allows for ministers, people who are presenting, if they can maintain distance, to go without a mask. And so I'm doing that. People say they hear me. All of us lip read to some degree. And I've been told that's helpful. And I'm doing it because I can do it according to this. Now, this may change. Okay. Virtual attendance. This was a little loosey-goosey last semester, and you can expect this to get shored up. If you were here last semester, right? The only authorized reason to attend virtually, and I'm going to show you where the link is. The link is on Canvas, by the way. Okay? It's on our Canvas page. The only authorized reason is that you have been instructed by YC officials to quarantine or isolate, as demonstrated on your Campus Clear app, right? Remember your little app right there? You know what? I didn't do it yet today. There you go. No symptoms, right? Down here. Here we go. See result. Good to go. And by the way, you should do that by 10 o'clock. I usually do it before I go to work, but I'm an old guy. I forget. Right? So if you are told by school officials to quarantine or to isolate, whether you've tested positive or not, they will send me an email, and then you are authorized to attend virtually without being counted absent. Now, what happened last semester is people started attending virtually for a lot of other reasons. And that is not the intent, and you'll be marked absent, even if you're there, right? Even if you're there, you're going to be marked absent unless I have emails saying, and then, of course, they send out an email saying so-and-so has been cleared to return to their normal routine. The day that I get that email, I'm going to say, I'm not going to bother about what time of the day. We're going to, you can attend virtually that day, even if it goes out at 8 o'clock in the morning, okay? You can attend virtually that day. But the next day after I get that email, I'm expecting you in class. That's the way that works. Students attended virtually for any other reason or after they have been cleared to return to class will be counted absent. But you're still welcome to attend virtually. If you want to attend virtually and still be counted as an absent, you can. Absence, you can. But you're going to be counted absent, right? This is school policy. This come down from Dr. Mountjoy, the provost. The provost, by the way, is in charge of all the academic function on campus. It ends with him, right? And he does a very good job, by the way. Not because he's my boss, but because I've known him for 20 years, and we're good personal friends. Okay, he does a good job doing this. So anyway, this is something. When you're in a virtual classroom, if you're attending virtually, several things. Anything inappropriate in a normal classroom is inappropriate in a virtual setting. All right? It's inappropriate in a virtual setting. All right? You got to be dressed. Right? Don't want anything in the background. There's all kinds of stories that are circulating. And some of them are on film because I record mine. We're being recorded right now. Right? Right? Your little sister runs back there without enough clothes on. That is being recorded. Your camera must be on. And you must be at the camera. Your microphone should be muted unless you're participating in class, asking a question, so forth, right? In which case, please turn your microphone on and ask a question. Okay? You must be paying active attention. If you are tuned in virtually and you're driving a car, I'm sorry, you're welcome to, I don't want you to do that, but if you do that, you'll be counted absent. Right? If you're doing this and you're out playing golf, which happened once last semester, you will be counted absent, right? I'm starting to sound like Jeff Foxworthy, right? If you've ever mowed your lawn and found a car, you might be a redneck. Right? If you do such and such, you will be counted absent. So you got to be microphone muted, camera on, paying active attention. You are not primarily doing something else, right? That is for absent. Right here is what I said earlier. Everybody, including me, anything that's inappropriate, well, I'll be in a classroom, but sometimes I may do help sessions and everything from home, right? That applies to my home too. You should expect me to be dressed. You should expect me to be paying attention. You should expect things in the background or, you know, no offensive stuff on your coffee cup or on your t-shirt, right? Right? I'll do the same. I got my political views. You know what? Let's keep them out of the classroom. How about that? How about that? Fair enough? Right? You know, I got little causes I'm big on. You know, let's keep that out of the classroom. So that's the deal there. This applies to the teacher, student, and anyone else within the range of the camera or microphone. Right? I don't know if I'm... I don't know. Must be a virus, you know, replicating this slide. You know. Syllabus highlights. By the way, the official syllabus is on Canvas. What you have is the course guide. So I should put course guide highlights here. Okay. All right. But you have the course guide in front of you. I'm not going to go through all of it, but number one is to read it. You're responsible for what's on there, and so am I. Right? Because that over there tells you what you should expect from me as well, right? Homework. There is homework. Here's the rule. You're about to get some slides, and if I get to it, we're going to do some slides today. But you're about to get some slides. I will give you the slides for the class. Anytime we pass a slide that has homework on it, that homework is due the next class period. Okay? It won't be much. In fact, it won't be enough. Let me say it again. Anytime we pass a slide that has homework on it, that homework is due the next class period. And by the way, you can turn it in on a separate sheet of paper. That's what most people do. Some people turn in their actual slide, but put your name on it. Now, if you turn in the slide, keep in mind you don't have that slide to study from, right? You know, and if we start the next day and we're covering slides on that piece of paper, it's just front and back, right? There's 4 slides on every sheet of paper. You won't have those slides. And once in a while, it takes me 2 or 3 days to get to a stack of homework, right? And so you won't have those for 2 or 3 days. I suggest using a separate sheet of paper, okay? But if you want to turn in your slides, you can. Just understand that. Technology. You must have a TI-83 or TI-84 calculator. One of these. It can be the older TI-83 plus. It can be that, no problem, right? In fact, it can be any graphing calculator that you know how to use. Maybe you used a different one in high school. Maybe you used one of those Casios. There's a cheap Casio for sale. A lot of people buy them at Walmart or whatever. The problem is if you don't have a graphing calculator and you're buying a graphing calculator now or you're borrowing one now, you probably don't know how to use a graphing calculator very well if you haven't owned one. Now, there's some that have calculators in high schools that give them to you. I understand that. There's some exceptions. But understand, if you are getting a calculator for the first time, a graphing calculator for the first time this semester, get a TI-83 plus or a TI-84 plus, right? You can borrow one from one of your friends. Now, let me tell you what not to do. Don't buy an off-brand unless you already know how to use it, right? I'm not saying they don't do this stuff. I'm saying you're going to see me. I'm going to put an electronic calculator on the screen, and you're going to see me press the buttons, and you're going to see the menu, and you're going to see how the operation works. And you're going to have to translate that to this other calculator that has different menus and different buttons and all that. Now, I've had students who come out of high school knowing how to use one of those calculators, and they've done fine if you know how to use it. Okay. This right here. This is a TI-89 titanium calculator. This is the most powerful handheld calculator that's ever been made. Don't use one of these in here unless you already know how to use it, right? Right? My son went through engineering school with this. It's for whirlybirds, okay? All right? Now he's out there making twice the money I am. He gave it back to me. He gave it back to his schleppy York College faculty member father, right? No, he's out doing good. I'm very proud of him. And but this is my point. This is a great calculator. It has a totally different menu system. TI-89, TI-86, same way. TI-85, same way. So if you go to borrow a calculator from one of your buddies down the hall, be sure it's a TI-83 plus or TI-84 plus, or you're going to regret it. Now, I got to say one more thing. There's going to be a few people, and there is in every class, who say, no, I ain't buying a calculator. Ain't doing it. I'm going to get by without it. That will cost you at least a letter grade. Not because I'm going to take it off, but there's going to be stuff on tests you won't be able to do. So technology is part of this class. Another thing, you can go on eBay right now, and you can get a TI-83 plus, not this one, but a TI-83 plus for $30, $35 shipped. I've bought hundreds of them in my life, okay? Hundreds, all right? Shipped. So you get shipped to you, you use it, and then guess what? You sell it at the end of the semester. Get your money back. You'll have to pay shipping that way probably, okay? All right? So that I can't by the way, you don't have to buy a nice one. This is not a nice one. This is like a medium model now. There's some nice color ones and all that. You don't have to do that. You know, they're $100, $120, $140. You don't need one of those. $30 one will do fine. Right? It'll do fine. Right? Oh, Canvas. If you have been here, you probably know Canvas. Probably familiar with Canvas. Over here, canvas.york.edu. Canvas.york.edu. These are the classes I teach, but you'll see your classes there. Click on our course, and here you have the course syllabus. If you want it, there it is. I didn't even print it out. Okay. What you have in your hand is the course guide. So after you lose the copy I just gave you, right, you have a course guide there, right? Copy there. The stuff in here comes up during the semester. The stuff in front of you does come up, right? Please, please don't play ignorant. Final exam schedule. Right now, right here. Click on that. And final exam schedule's right there. See that little piece of paper? Okay. These are when the final exams are this semester. Make your preparation and departure plans accordingly. I don't care where you live. I know a lot of you got to get on a plane to go where you're going. But I get people coming in, Mr. Miller's the only flight available to go home. Baloney. It's the cheapest flight. You and I both know it. Right? I used to live in Europe, right? I know all about flying, right? Make your departure plans early enough where you can make the final. For one thing, Dr. Mountjoy ain't going to approve early finals. I'm just telling you, he ain't. Number two, I ain't going to approve. The last earlier final I approved. By the way, sometimes exceptions are made for sports teams who have playoffs or whatever during that time. They usually require those tests be taken early, though, not later, earlier. Okay, but not always. The last one I approved was over 15 years ago, and it was a young lady in my class who was in the Army Reserves, and she was going to Iraq. Okay, well, if you can top that, let me know. But I got to get home to my sister's wedding. Isn't going to cut it, right? Not with me, not with Mountjoy, right? So these are the finals. By the way, ours right here, we're a 9 a.m. class. Tuesday, it's going to be Thursday, excuse me, a finals week, which is the 29th, 9 to 11 a.m. in this room. All right, so that's the final exam date and time. It's on your syllabus. All right. So plan accordingly, prepare accordingly. Down here a little more, Google Meet streaming link right here. That's the link. That's the link you click to join class, to attend virtually. All right. Some college algebra help resources. Math study tips, I'll get into those. These are by a professor who I actually used to work for at the University of Florida, 30, 40 years ago. Khan Academy, I can't tell you enough, but Khan Academy is wonderful. Okay. Here's my office hours. They are also in the course guide. They're also going to be up there. Okay, I'm going to put them on the board. That's my office hours. Basically, if I'm there, I'll help you. But try to come at these times. When it says by appointment, that means you better check before you come. Because I have been around a while, and I know when students tend to come and not tend to come. Okay, so these by appointment are times I may be available, but I don't. If I don't have anybody I know is coming, I feel free to do other things, right? And then you see office, I'm going to be there at those times. I'm usually there other times too. Come by. Another thing, you can stop me anytime you see me on campus. This I have found very, very helpful to students. If you've been struggling with a problem, you've like been, and you know what happened? You say, I've had people on the way out of the room, Mr. Miller, can you get this one? What am I doing wrong here? Chances are, if you've already been working on it, I can take a pen and say, you know what? Take a look at your factoring right here. I may not even tell you the answer. I'll tell you where to look. And you go, that's a 2, not a 4, right? And a lot of times, if you've already struggled with it, it's a 30-second fix. You can see me in chapel. Stop me in chapel. If you see me in the CAF, I don't care who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to other faculty, if I'm talking to President Smith, you can tell him I said this. You got a problem like that? You come see me. You see me, right? Anywhere on campus. And unless my esteemed presence is required elsewhere. Right? Once in a while, I'm going to a meeting. I may have to, but these 30-second fixes you can do almost anytime, right? So I encourage you to take advantage of that. You don't have to come to an office hour. Also, I'm at every Spark session. Spark sessions are going to start 2 weeks from tonight, because next week is Martin Luther King Day. So 2 weeks from tonight, Spark session. I'm there 8 to 9 o'clock. I know it goes to 10, but I ain't going to be there until 10. All right? I'm old. Right? You know you're getting old if your goal is to be in bed at the times you used to go out. That's me, okay? I want to be in bed at 10, all right? Because I'm an old geezer, all right? So 8 to 9 every Monday, you got that. I have had very good turnout of my classes at Spark. That has been a definite successful thing. And by the way, Emily Yeager, if you see her, tell her thanks, but she does a great job organizing them. Oh, she's a math minor, by the way. She's getting a minor in math. Okay, here's the YouTube video playlist. Every day, including today, the video is going to go there. It's a YouTube playlist, right? And if I can, I'm going to get it on Rumble. All right. But anyway, no promises there. But that's the YouTube playlist for this class. You click on it, you go to a list of all the recordings from this class. Right? Pretty cool. Tests and everything. We'll get to that later. Okay. Another thing is, here's your grades right here. Click here. This is the only time I can click here. Here's what you can do. Here's everybody's grades. My teacher flashed everyone's grades in front of the class. You can go home and tell your mom. Right here. There's everyone's grades right there. It's terrible. Look at this guy. He's flunking. Right. So that's where you get your grades. Keep an eye on those. Right. Oh, number one, man. Lose that nonsense. Oh. Oh, man. Ugh. Nuke the phones. I usually have my nuked. Okay. Pretty cool song, though, from the 70s. All right. Let's go back over here. So we've done this. Let's go back down. Homework, technology, Canvas, Academic Resource Center. That's in the building formerly known as the library. They changed the name of it. It wasn't my idea. Okay, but they have a lot. There's a lot there. If any of you have any accommodations, learning disability, any of that kind of stuff, you get accommodations. That's where you go. Right? There's tutors there. Spark, I already mentioned, on Monday night. Final exam, I already mentioned the date and time. It's on your syllabus. COVID changes are possible, right? Back last spring, over spring break, faculty get this email saying, and you got an email if you were here, said, we're not opening campus, stay where you're at, right? So basically it was virtual learning the whole rest of the semester, and that was a lot of fun, right? Barring anything like that, the final exam is at the date and time I mentioned. Thursday, the 28th, I think, 9 to 11 a.m. right here. Wag the dog. This is a huge factor. Wag the dog. It was a movie a long time ago, but it's when the extracurricular and social scene tail starts wagging the academic dog. Let me tell you something. The most important thing in every one of our lives should be God. The second most important thing, it may not be for you. I went to college a full atheist, by the way. So I got respect for those who have different convictions. The second, regardless who you are, is your physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being. You take care of that. That involves sleep, by the way. Okay, but involves other things. Those are the most important things. And I want to tell you, this little college out in the middle of corn and soybean, so much can go on there that people compromise those things. And we all have done it to some degree. I've done it. But I really look out for that. Right? The third, I'm sorry, the third are people you care about. People you care about. Always, never put this busyness and everything in front of people, right? You know, the people used to go, used to send BFF texts in high school. Make sure they're BFF. Text them once in a while, even if they don't text you back. Even if you're the last one to text them again. Let them know if you're going to drop this relationship, it's on you, bro, because I care about you. And I liked our goofing off time, or whatever it was. People back home, your family, your friends here, right? Then comes academics and sports and performing arts and all that stuff. All right? I'm telling you, that's a priority, right? So don't let the social and extracurricular tail wag the dog that is you. The spiritual, physical being that has needs, that needs sleep, that needs certain kind of emotional support. You are one of those. I am too. I am too. Be sure to care for yourself. All right? How do I be in here? We're out of time here almost. Come to class, pay active attention. Already said that, right? By the way, I have rarely seen anyone who has done these three things who has not walked away with an A or B. Not because I gave it to them, because they earned it. Number 2, dedicate 1 to 2 hours of no nonsense, no cell phone, no social media, no girlfriend, boyfriend, eyeballs to the book, graphite to the paper. Preparation between any 2 class periods. 1 out of 100 students on campus does that. Now, let me tell you something. The people who accredit the school, right? Our accreditation. By the way, we're accredited by the same organization that accredits UNL and all the big universities. We don't have all those programs and everything, but the ones we have, we got to meet the same standards. All right? Their definition of a college class is a class that requires 2 hours, of work. 2 hours of work for every hour in class. That is the definition from the accreditation agency. If a class doesn't require at least that much work to do well in, I'm talking about to do well, it's not considered a college class. Now, I have been at this school. I'm in my 19th year at this school. All right? I've been here a while. I know there's a bunch of classes on campus that don't require that. And you can get your A or B, and you can miss 15, 20 absences or whatever, and you still get an A or B. You know what that's called? That's called a middle school class. That's what that's called. That's not college. And I can promise you, you won't do well in here. So this is the big thing. Graphite to the paper is the big equalizer. 3rd, get help sooner rather than later. Sooner rather than later. You do these things, I have very rarely seen the individual not earn an A or B. Lack of preparation on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. You know, I get these calls. Mr. Miller, I'm not ready for the test. Do you want me to fail, Mr. Miller? Oh, pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip. It's so sad. Right. Electronic devices, lose them, including me in class. I don't want you texting. If you are texting during class, even though you're here, you'll be counted absent. I've done it many times. Mr. Miller, I was there that day. No, you weren't. With the phones away, including mine. Hold me to that too. All right? That's what that says. Stress. Stress is produced. Let me tell you why you're stressed. Almost all of your stress is linkable to this. Stress is produced by unfulfilled commitments to yourself and others. Commitments you've made to yourself or to someone else or to your academic, whatever, that you know you could be fulfilling, but you're not. Now, the fact that you didn't climb Mount Everest last week probably isn't stressing you because you know you didn't have a commitment to that. Not a lot was at stake, whether you did that or not. But things that matter to you that are going unfulfilled is where your stress comes from. Unless you track your commitments, you're going to overcommit, guaranteed. I promise you, guaranteed. This changed my life, by the way. These 3 things ask my wife. Right? I started writing down, and I will show you, I'll even bring up in class my to-do list. It's really, really long. But anything comes in my head, I write it down. And that way, when you make a list of your commitments, all of them, there's a little stress-saving word that comes a lot easier. The biggest stress-saving word there is, you ready? No! Hey, man, we'll go out and do some pizza. Hey, let's do some video games after you're on. No, I said I was going to study. I was going to do different this semester. I'm studying. I'm coming back from the CAF. I'm going to study from 7 to 10. Then I might do video games. Right? So 7 to 10, that's a commitment to yourself. Right? Commitment to yourself. You say no. N-O. Right? And guess what? After a few times, they'll quit asking you to do stupid stuff when you've made other commitments. Right? Very important. I don't know if I mentioned this. Now I want to end with this. End this every day. You've heard of Larson Commons, Larson House. Right here, I present to you. This was Dr. Dale Larson. I am proud to say I knew him. I knew his lovely wife, Raylene. They are both with the Lord now. And this is me and my wife getting tanned in Florida. The church I'm associated with down in the Tampa area of Florida is where they retired. And my wife and I got to meet them, got to know them a little bit. Without Dale Larson and the grace of the Lord, there would be no York College today. Have a great day. Joy Chapel. Put your cards right here. I'm going to use them for, put your cards right here. Please, I'm going to use them for attendance. And on Wednesday, get ready for some math.